Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Lori Anne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. I hope you're having a really great day. I just want to let you know that I am having Kundalini yoga gatherings on a monthly basis. If you're interested, just drop me either a text message or a message on social media, and I'll give you some more information about that. But that will help with some meditation, movement, sound, a lot of things. We can break some blocks or gremlins that you might have. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. In the meantime, today we are going to talk about eating correctly. So we have Heather Hart on. She was born and raised in Southern California. She moved to New York in 2014, where she developed her love for food and to help others into a career in nutrition and dietetics. She has a deep desire to help patients by educating and ensuring that their nutritional demands are being met based on their underlying medical conditions, gender, and age. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure. So tell me, what is a nutritional dietitian?
So I'm a clinical dietitian, and what we do is we assess patients. We take into account, as you said, any underlying health conditions, just looking at the full picture. So most disciplines in the hospital will only look at, like cardiology will look at the heart, and renal will look at the kidneys. We like to look at everything to ensure that these patients are meeting their nutritional needs.
How do you go about doing that?
We start with analyzing their calorie needs and different nutrients. So we look at labs, we look at body weight, we check to see are these people, like say they have a condition that requires a lot more calories or more protein if they have some tissue breakdown. So there's a lot of little steps that get us there, a lot of math and little things.
Ooh, I don't do math.
We do. Yeah. So, but once we get there, we make our recommendations based on those calculated needs, and we also talk to the patients to make sure that they fully understand the diet we're giving them if they're able to speak.
Understood. So help me out. There are a lot of misconceptions about registered dietitians, right? And a lot of people confuse the differences between a registered dietitian and a nutritionist. So help us understand what the differences are. So
technically, a nutritionist, anybody can call themselves a nutritionist. So if you took a weekend course or you saw something online, you read a magazine, you can put yourself out there and say, hi, I'm Heather Hart, the nutritionist. A registered dietitian, however, does require a 4-year degree. We do an internship, which is very competitive to get into, and that's about 1 year, and it's 1,200 hours.
Wow.
Rotate through all the different disciplines, including community and counseling. Mm-hmm. And then we work with patients in the hospital, and we're considered healthcare providers. So
understood. So it's very, very regimented. It's certified. It's more than certified, actually. You have a whole degree in it. But the other myth I hear a lot about is that you are the food police, and that all you do is eat fruits and vegetables. Now, I know that's not true.
No, we love this. We love this, and my coworkers joke about this all the time. We actually like cake and pizza, and we feel that all foods can be incorporated through balance. And
being a salt addict myself, I need to understand why registered dietitians are just not salt friendly.
Well, we understand, like, especially if you have a underlying health condition or it runs in your family, we recommend to kind of lower their salt intake. However, if you're a healthy individual and you're exercising normally, just keep an eye on it. You don't go crazy with salt, like pounds of salt on everything, but you should be okay. I wouldn't stress too much about it.
Yeah. I don't really, because even if they say don't use it, I use it anyway because I like it. But I'm one of those patients that you would probably have to wrestle to the ground to eat certain things. I just don't enjoy it. So let's just go to basics. How can cooking at home be, one, less expensive? Everything's less expensive than going through a drive-through, and much healthier. But how can we cook at home? What are your recommendations for really meal preparations that make sense, especially in this busy world?
Yeah. I think now more than ever, because of unemployment rates being so high, and it's a lot of food. It's a little difficult right now for people to get food on their table. So going out to eat is a more expensive option, and it tends to be like if you're going to a restaurant, for example, an average of 4, it's $20 a person, whereas like if you're eating at home, it could be on average $4 a person.
Right.
But that can even be lower. So like an example I give patients is like doing like whole wheat noodles, marinara sauce, ground beef, like if it's on sale, and some like frozen bag of broccoli, which can be on sale for $1. I'm sure you've seen that.
Sure.
And that's a full meal, and everybody, for 4 people, that's $2 a person. So, I mean, you're saving a lot of money there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually have this recipe from my mom years ago. We called it glop, and what it was it's ground beef, and you add corn, and you add peas, and then you make some noodles. You throw it all together. You mix it together. It looks like glop. It almost looks like a sloppy Joe with vegetables in it, and you have your whole meal, and it's very, very inexpensive.
Yeah, and it sounds tasty too.
It is very tasty. Actually, you can also use turkey, ground turkey as well. So if you really want to,
your option.
Really super healthy, right? So how do you decide how much to buy? I'm really bad about that. I cook for 2 when I do cook. Truth be told, my boyfriend cooks all the time. So, but how do you do that? How do you know how much to buy?
It's important to plan ahead. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can start thinking of recipes like I'm craving this week. Like I'm kind of wanting to eat Taco Bell, but I don't want to go to Taco Bell to get that because it's not so healthy.
Right.
So you can start scoping out on the Sunday circular and seeing what's on sale. You could do it that way, or you can create your menu and create a list that way. So the most important thing is have a game plan before you go to the grocery store. Create a shopping list or create recipes and raid your house, see what you have, because sometimes we tend to buy more than what we need. And if we're saving money, it's good to see what we have and use that first. And then go to the grocery store with that shopping list and stick with it. And you're less likely to spend more money if you have a shopping list than if you just go in there blindly and say, I think I needed this. Oh, look at that. I want that. Things start to look really good when you don't have something to follow.
Yeah, no, it's especially if you go there hungry, that's never a good idea, right?
Yeah, I always say, eat an apple or have a yogurt right before you go to the grocery store because, going on a hungry stomach, you start to get those hungry eyes and everything looks really good. Yeah,
that's true. It's true. I also find myself, I actually shop mostly in the perimeter of the stores. It seems like everything that I need is on the sides and the back walls, not through the aisles. Do you find that a lot of the more healthier foods are in those places?
Yes and no, because you can find good food staples like the brown rice, the grains, the dried lentils. Mm-hmm. Those tend to be in the aisles, and those tend to have good deals on them too. So those are things that they have longer shelf life, so something you can keep in your house. But if you're saying you're wanting to do more fresh foods, I hear that going the perimeter tends to be popular. It's not something that's bad, but if you have some more things that are that can stay on the shelf a little longer, it's good to maybe explore in some of those aisles. But having a game plan, so you're not just like looking at sugary cereals and you grab it because it looks good. You'll have, I need to go get this, and this from these aisles, and that's it.
Excellent recommendation. So now help me out with carbs. Some people say none. Some people say some is important. Some people say that there are some good carbs. What's the real skinny on this, Heather? Help us out.
So carbohydrates get like a really bad rap.
Don't they?
Another thing that dietitians were like, why? Because we do need carbohydrates. They're energy and our brain fuel. That's the fuel for our brain. Now, how much carbs is the big thing. So you don't want to do too many of simple carbohydrates. So the white rice, white bread, all the great things, sugar, those are all simple carbohydrates. The complex carbs are, they always say good carbs, but we don't like to use those words. Complex carbs are the ones you want to eat more of. So that's the brown rice, and they come from beans too, because that's like a starch, which has carbohydrates in it, and quinoa, all the cool fun things. So those are the good carbohydrates if you want to use good and bad. that you should increase more of. And you can have the pizza and the white bread, but you want to do that in moderation. You don't want to tell yourself no to something because it's going to make you want to crave it even more.
Yeah, I find that if I'm getting a craving, just have a little bit of it and then you kill it. If you don't eat everything and then you end up eating it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So not putting those restrictions on you it's probably better. Just letting yourself know I'm going to have a little bit and get a taste. And if you want more, sometimes you're going to have more, but don't put that hard restriction on yourself. It's just life's too short. We got to enjoy ourselves and just do it in moderation.
Oh, I love that, Heather. Life is too short. You need to enjoy it. But why is it that carbs make you feel so lethargic? What is it about it? Is it the breaking down of it, or?
I think it's the metabolism mostly. It's just your body metabolizes carbohydrates pretty quickly, which can take some of the energy. That process can take some energy from you. But it actually gives you more. If you work out right after you eat carbohydrates, which is a very good thing to do.
Uh-huh.
So, like if you have a simple carbohydrate an hour before a good workout, it can fuel your workout. You'll feel like a superhero.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a good energy source. But if you don't, and you ate a huge thing of pasta, our body will tend to turn that into the unwanted, lovely fat that we try to avoid.
Yeah. I understand that. So now I have a game plan. I have made my list out. What places should I go to? What places have the best deals?
So you want to do this by looking at the circulars and seeing which ones in your area have the better deals. And you can also go online and find coupons and sales. And seasonal fruits and vegetables are the best way to go. So I don't recommend going to multiple stores because you're just wasting gas.
Right.
And who has the time to really do that?
True.
So find the store that has some of the best deals, and then develop your recipes around those food items that you're getting. Say it's chicken. That week's going to be a chicken week. We're going to we're going to buy a large amount, and we're going to make a batch of chicken. One day it's going to be shredded tacos. The next day I'm going to do grilled chicken with lemon. The next day I'm going to have soup. And you're making that chicken kind of stretch throughout the week.
Yeah, I also have what I refer fondly to as a sucker machine, but it's that food saver machine. So we'll cook on Sunday, and then we'll package them up and put some of the stuff in the freezer and some of the stuff in the fridge. And then we have what we need for the week. So it's done.
Yeah, things last about 3 days, but I do recommend people freezing, like doing large batches.
Yeah.
You can freeze, especially if it's only 2 people. You can freeze it and save it for another day. Yeah,
we actually do that, and we always make sure that we label it because you think you're going to know what it is, but it all looks the same once it's frozen. Have you ever noticed that?
Sometimes, yeah, that's funny that you said that.
So, and here's the thing that's always mystifying to me, because I know some fruits and vegetables taste better during different parts of the year and different times of the year. So this season, in spring, what fruits and vegetables are in season?
The yummy ones, there's apricots, artichokes, asparagus, avocados, carrots, beets, pineapples, cherries, potatoes, spinach, arugula, fennel, leeks. I said leeks already, and some like beans are becoming really popular. So a lot of the root things.
Yeah.
Great ingredients to add. And I love Google because you can just put in an ingredient and say, find me a recipe for this ingredient. So you went to the store. It was a lot cheaper because it's in season.
Right.
And you get to shop seasonally.
Now the squashes are more fall.
Yeah. They're more fall, yeah.
Yeah, I have this thing with spaghetti squash. I love it, love it, love it. And then my avocado issue is just an issue. I love them.
Yeah.
I actually use avocados in place of mayo and make egg salad with avocado. That's what I mix it together with.
That's amazing.
It's so good. It's so good. Add a little red onion and you're just in heaven. Well, at least I am.
No,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And is it really impossible to eat healthy on a budget? Is it?
No, it's a misconception. I think eating healthy, people believe eating healthy is much more expensive than buying, cheaper things like highly processed or pre-made meals. But by taking advantage of all these deals we were just talking about,
right,
buying foods in season, you actually save a lot of money. And one way you can make the most out of your dollar is finding recipes, as we were saying, for these more economical ingredients and keeping food staples in the house, such as like beans, lentils. You can do canned, if say, you're in a pinch for time or you didn't go to the store, you can always have canned salmon or canned tuna, grains like brown rice, barley, quinoa, and frozen fruits and vegetables. I don't know why everybody hates these so much, but they are picked at their prime and they are frozen, and you don't lose a lot of vitamins like you think you do in the process. So it's almost better sometimes to buy things frozen because they're hand-picked to be perfect, and then they flash freeze them and save them for you.
So those aren't the ones, though, that they gas in advance so that they speed up the growing process? The stuff that's frozen?
No. You can like organic. They have organic frozen things.
Right. I always found that the fruits, and I use them all the time, the frozen fruits in my shakes, but I always find that there's excess water, and I think that's one of the things that's distasteful to some people. So what I do is I usually take it out like for an hour and let it sit on the counter, and then this way you could drain all that other stuff out. So it kind of takes that away. What about snacks? What are some good snacks that you can tuck away in your briefcase, your purse, whatever, so that you have it during the day? Because that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour, right about now, is kind of a witching hour for me.
Yeah, and snacks are, if you think about it, like just because of the packaging, it's super expensive.
Yeah.
They really add up. So buying things like a tub of low-fat yogurt or cottage cheese and dividing it into smaller containers, or creating your own trail mix at home with unsalted nuts, dried fruit, whole grain pretzels, or some type of cereal, and store those in small containers or even little storage bags, and just tuck those away in places in case you need it, like having some in your purse or a little one in the car so you're not like ravishingly hungry when you get home. Those are just some good things to have around.
I actually take a trail mix that I make and I put it in the food saver, and I make little containers of it. So I always have them around because that, like I said, they're just witching hours, and I try to eat 6 meals a day. What's your feeling on that? The smaller little meals as opposed to 3 big ones?
I don't have any mixed feelings towards that. I do recommend typically the 3 meals a day with snacks in between. Mm-hmm. However, if that is better for you, and you find yourself like, no matter what, if I were to eat 3 meals, I'd still be even hungry for that extra meal, then it's better to kind of portion it out throughout the day. But for people that eat, you should be eating a balanced meal so you're not so starving by the time you get to lunch or by the time you get to dinner.
Right.
And that little snack in between can hold you over. And if that's not happening, the 6 meals a day is, it's a good alternative.
Yeah, I think my 6 meals a day are including the snacks in between the 3 regular meals. Okay. But I just find that I don't eat as much in the regular meals if I know I have my snack coming in a couple hours. So, and then I take a nap. No, I'm only kidding. And so just before we go to break, what are a couple of good tips before I go to the grocery store, other than having a game plan and making my list?
I think that those were what we hit. We're having the game plan, shopping the sales, and creating recipes based on those.
So just one more question is, are there any extra tips or tricks to eating right, especially on a budget?
Yes. So you can always when you're making a plate, when you look at your plate, you should always have half your plate with vegetables or fruit, mostly vegetables if it's like lunch or dinner. And a quarter of your plate should be protein, and the other quarter should be a grain, so like brown rice or some type of grain. And that's considered a balanced diet. And doing that, you should be meeting all your nutrient needs. And dairy, you got to have a little dairy on the side too. Right.
And you prescribe dairy, huh?
It could be dairy, or it could be a non-dairy product like almond milk, because those are fortified with the vitamin D. Some of them are fortified with vitamin D and calcium in them.
Right. So years ago when I was in the hospital, we had these awful, awful foods, and it would be, I'll never forget, I was in once and it was a slab of ham. It was like swimming in this gravy. It had mashed potatoes. It had, like, to me, that was not a balanced meal. Hasn't the dietary requirements and hasn't your industry kind of gone in a different direction, and you don't do that anymore? Because the meals now in hospitals, believe it or not, are almost gourmet.
Yeah, back when they didn't take nutrition very serious, because they they figured medicine is going to cure all, and then they realized a lot of this is preventative, so maybe we should pay attention to nutrition a little more. So we definitely have more nutritionally focused meals in the hospital. And we want it to be tasty because we want our patients to eat. So when you're not feeling well, the last thing you want to look at is a slab of ham on your tray.
This is so true. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. We are going to come right back and have more conversation with Heather Hart. And I hope you're having a really good day. We will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Lori Anne. If you have any questions or concerns or comments that you would like to give us, you could pop here on live Facebook, or you could hit us up at any of our social media platforms at Healthy Lifestyle with LA. Feel free to reach out to us. We love that. Or you can reach us by email at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. We're speaking to Heather Hart. Unbelievable conversation, a registered dietitian, really working in the hospitals. Heather, thank you so much for being on. I love this conversation. We just left off with, before the break, with a conversation about, what the food looks like now in hospitals, and that you really medically look at somebody holistically to see what they should and should not eat, so that that diet balances whatever medical conditions they have and helps them get stronger. So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the food and the importance of food, the nutrition and the energy that you get from the food to support the activities that you're performing. So can you speak more about that? I know that it's a really important element.
Yeah, especially in the hospital, if that's what we're relating to, because in the hospital, patients tend to come in. So if you're not feeling well and you feel so bad that you need to come to the hospital, chances are you weren't eating before you got here. So one of the big things that we look at is malnutrition. And we do that by assessing their diet before they tell us verbally what they were eating. And a lot of them say, I wasn't feeling good. I didn't eat 3 days before I came here, and I'm still not eating. And then we do a physical to check to see if they have muscle depletion and fat depletion, because that goes really quick on people.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
You have a high metabolic, like their catabolic state. So whatever's causing their sickness is taking a lot of energy.
Gotcha.
When you have the flu, for example, you've probably noticed you've lost a few pounds. Dehydration and not eating what you normally eat can cause you to lose weight. But muscle tends to give itself quickly, especially when you're not feeling well, to sacrifice itself for energy. So the body's using the muscle and starts breaking that down pretty quickly.
Gotcha. I also feel like when I'm not feeling well and when people aren't feeling well, heavy food is just too much to handle. You just want light and clean, and you just don't want that heavy food. Why is that? Is it because of the energy it takes to process it in your body?
No, I think it's just you're not feeling well. Like strong scents tend to turn people off.
Yes.
And it's just your overall, your malaise, like your body is just not wanting to do much. So what I recommend to people that are nauseous or not feeling well and just they don't know what they want, you can either stick to comfort foods, those ones that you'll eat no matter what, even if you're not hungry.
Grilled cheese.
Or 2, yeah, exactly. Or 2, cold foods, because cold foods don't give off that strong odor.
Yeah. And
it's a little bit easier for people to tolerate.
Yeah, it's so odd when I'm sick and a friend of mine is sick. We both crave salad. I don't know why. It's so bizarre. But it's light and it feels cool, in your mouth when you're not feeling well. Yeah. But so I know that not only do you help people with their food and what they should be eating and helping them with diets. Do you actually give them written out diets and things like that after they leave the hospital, or do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so that's one of my favorite parts of this job. I mean, yes, we like to assess their clinical needs while they're in the hospital, but one of my favorite parts is leaving them with that little bit of advice and giving them some written material to go home. So saying somebody came into the hospital that was newly diagnosed with diabetes and they had no clue, they're scared and they just don't know where to start. So I kind of like to give them that, their footing on how to get started with eating a more consistent carbohydrate diet that will help stabilize their blood sugars moving forward.
Are you able to then, or is the patient able to get back to you to get more advice and
we give them our business card? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you're out of Long Island Jewish Valley Stream, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's obviously part of the NORTHWELL Health group, and NORTHWELL is so into, as are the doctors, the nutritionists, the dietitians, the nurse practitioners. They're all into educating their clients, and I love that about you as well. You love that educational factor.
It's my favorite part of the job.
Why?
Because it's just that moment, like you see somebody, that light bulb go off in somebody's head. I guess that's just how teachers must feel when they have their students kind of like have that aha moment. And it doesn't happen to everybody. Some people are just not ready to make those lifestyle changes. Right. But for the ones that do, they're so grateful, and I don't know, it's worth coming to work every day for.
Oh, that sounds so great. So I know you also encourage people to engage in physical activity, right? To help with physical and mental health. It's real important to keep moving. A body in motion stays in motion, right? So discuss different types of exercises and how much is recommended for adults.
So for adults, this is not for patients, but the average adult that is typically, pretty healthy and can move normally, 150 minutes a week is the CDC recommends. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not that bad. It's about 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, or you can split it up in 10-minute intervals, or you can spread it out over 7 days a week. And a lot of things count as a physical activity, like gardening, dancing, bicycling, brisk walks. The weather's getting better. It's going to be nice to go outside. You can go to the mall and use that for I check off the list. I worked out for 30 minutes.
Getting out of bed, going downstairs, making my coffee, that doesn't count?
We're going to have to add some cleaning in there.
You don't have to worry about that. I love that. I love to clean.
Okay, good. That's a good workout.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Especially when my sons are home. There's a whole lot more cleaning to do. So I love that you incorporate both. It's not just one. Do you help with any kind of physical activity or motion while a patient's in the hospital?
So we have physical therapists here for that, but I definitely recommend for all patients. I like to tell them to take care of their bodies in this way, in whichever way is medically feasible for them to do. So, like the doctor will let them know you're allowed to do X, Y, and Z, and I'll encourage them to do that. And I also tell them, I heard that you're mentioning things like meditation. I love to encourage people to meditate, and some people don't even know what that is. And so I just give them like a brief little, this is what you should do. It can take up to 1 minute. You just sit in your car before work, because some people are very stressed. That it's a very stressed environment right now. That's with the coronavirus.
Without a doubt. The meditation, how I started meditation, because I read this whole meditation book, and it talked about how you like blank out your mind and stuff like that. All the noise. I have a lot of white noise in my head, or had. And I started with a very simple meditation, and it was about a minute, like you had said. It could be done in your car, like you had said, on a break, taking a lunch break just before or after you eat, just listening to your breath. Just focus on your breath. Just for a minute, close your eyes and just focus on your breathing in and breathing out. And that meditation starts you on your way to liking how you feel afterwards. It's amazing how rested you feel after that. And a lot of times, some of the things that are bugging you or questions that you have, the answer actually comes either during or after you taking the moments to do that. I usually recommend people try to move up to 3 minutes, and then from 3 minutes you move up to 11 minutes. But I love that you'd incorporate meditation. I totally agree with you. Meditation is a wonderful, wonderful, no expense thing that you can do for yourself. And it really is something that you could do for yourself, and a really good habit.
Yeah, and some of these patients, they're very sick, so they don't have control over a lot what's going on with their bodies sometimes, and that can kind of give them something that they can control, like you said, their breath, and give them something else to focus on, and it gives them a chance to reset that mind and get into a little bit more positive.
Yeah, and just remember too, breathing in is helping I can't ever say that word, but put oxygen in your cells, and that helps with the expediting getting better. So
Sure.
that control is a really good part of everything that you're doing. I love that you spend the time really helping people learn how to eat properly. It's amazing to me how badly we eat as a country. And I mean, that must frustrate the bejeebus out of you.
Sometimes, yeah, it gets to me because I see people, they have so much potential, and I'm like, and you see patients come back with the same things, and their diet has like a big part of why they're coming back, and you just want to like shake them. It's like, please, just you have so much more in you. You could do this. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. They're not ready.
Gotcha. Well, and that's like anything else. You have to be ready. You can help them all you want, but you're hitting your head against the wall until it's kind of their idea and they're ready for it. I also, a little birdie told me that your superpower is relating and communicating to patients. Talk to me more about that.
Yeah. So we I think I mentioned my coworkers they're all very good at something, and my thing tends to be relating to a bunch of people. I came from a lower income community, and I think in a very diverse community, and I think that really set me up for being in a hospital. And that I like talking and meeting new people. I love the part of my day where I can sit and people joke if they're cranky, if whoever. I'm like, give me your worst patients. I love dealing with them. And it's not dealing with them. I love to have the pleasure of speaking with them and getting to know like a little bit of their story and kind of like changing their perspective on nutrition. It's just something I enjoy a lot.
I love that. That challenge is really great. And just think of the affectation that you have when you switch them from being cranky to not being cranky anymore. So that's.
Sometimes I like them cranky, though, especially the older ones. They have a lot of spunk, and I'm like, yeah.
I do like spunk, but that's a good thing. What inspires you?
Right. My coworkers are especially in this career, they're very inspirational. I'm so fortunate to have inherited these very intelligent women that have been in the career for a very long time. They've seen the different phases of nutrition gone through, where we didn't have much respect in the hospital to now we're part of the interdisciplinary, staff of helping the patient's care process. So they are just a wealth of knowledge, and I just aspire to be them one day and have as much knowledge as they do.
Well, it's amazing that all of you are just so compassionate and caring, and you really go out of your way to make sure that everybody is comfortable. And that's just, I can't thank you enough for what you do, because it's something that I can't. And seeing other people have a superpower to be able to do that and be able to relate to even the cranky patients who, you enjoy because they are spunky. I actually enjoy that as well when they kind of push back a little bit. Yeah. It's really quite enjoyable. So I totally understand what you're talking about. So here's a question for you. What's your why? Why did you get into this?
I think being from California, like we had, my household wasn't very healthy, but being in California, you're surrounded by a lot of agriculture and nature. And I saw the healthy things. I just didn't know how to correlate that with my body. So I always was very curious at a young age about how to do that. And the older I got, the more I realized what you eat affects how you feel and how you look and health. And so I just always had that passion just to help people. And I love food, so I love eating. That's not a problem. So I was like, how can I get this all into one thing? And it happens to be a registered dietitian.
And how long have you been working in the NORTHWELL system?
2 years.
Wow. Okay. And you've been here since 2014, right?
Yeah, so I started schooling in 2014, New York. Yes. Wow,
that is amazing. So what's on the horizon for you? What's your future goals?
I'd like to continue helping patients, but I would like to start my own practice, maybe write a book one day, and just give my time where I'm needed. I feel like people always need some type of advice, so I like to lend myself to others when it comes to that.
I love that. One of the things that you had given me was the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics vision. I love this. It says a world where all people thrive through the transformative power of food and nutrition. with a mission to accelerate improvements in global health and well-being through food and nutrition. I love that vision. That's such a great vision. And I love that you would want to write a book. I totally encourage you to write a book. We need more voices like yours who understand that, you need to look at people holistically, not only on one level, but you have to look at the entire person and everything that they're going through in order to give them the tools that they need. So, and that's why there's so many, I hate to use the D word, but so many diets out there. But I'm not a proponent of diets. I'm a proponent of eating well. And I think there's a big difference with that. And if you get to release weight by doing it, that's an awesome thing too. But I know if you eat well, if you are fueling your brain, you think better, you think clearer, you're in a better mood. Don't you agree? Yes,
I'm a huge advocate of that. At no time should you be obsessing over food to the point where you're starving or you're saving your lunch because you're going out to eat tonight because, it's just not a nice, well-balanced meal throughout the day, 3 meals a day, or you could do your 6. It's just, that's how you get your vitamins and your minerals. You just can't rely on these vitamins and minerals to give it to you, like the pill form.
Yeah, because a lot of that, you don't process it. If it's not the right one, it doesn't really process right.
It's expensive urine.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly. Most of it is coming out of you as opposed to doing what it's supposed to do. And I just always feel better when I eat the fruits and vegetables, and I crave that. And I was on a keto diet, and it was without fruits. And I was miserable, and only certain vegetables.
Why am I doing this to myself, right?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I definitely lost weight, but the lack of the fruits and the lack of, all the vegetables, it was really, really bothersome to me. So I stopped doing it and I started eating healthier. That gave me a lot more energy. And, again, add a lot of water to your diet. And I think that's the winning recipe. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Hydration is key. Water, water, water. 8 cups a day for men or women, and about 10 cups a day for men.
What's that, about 60 ounces?
Yeah, 2 liters for women and 2.5 liters, I believe, for men.
Wow.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And, limit sugar in moderation would be another, really good tip for everybody out there.
But I like my cake. Yeah, no, I totally agree. But you don't have to suffer. And it always bothered me. I tried doing, there was this diet out there, it's still out there, where you weigh everything. And, I was just thinking about food too much, and I ended up craving food as opposed to just eating what I needed. So now I eat when I'm hungry, and that's the only time I eat. And if I'm not hungry, then I don't have the snack. Or if I don't, you know what I mean? I only eat when my body says, okay, I need something here. And even then it's small individual meals. I actually know someone who, they don't use dinner plates. They actually use lunch plates. They're a little smaller because you end up taking less food.
Yeah, those are always good tips. The smaller plate is a good one. Some people use a smaller fork, putting your fork down in between bites. That's a good one. No distracted eating. Turn off the television. Listen to your body when you're eating. People ignore their hunger cues, so they don't know when they're full.
Right.
Or eating in front of a computer screen, that's never a good thing. You can eat a lot more being distracted. Well,
yeah, because you don't really realize what your intake is, and it becomes a habit as opposed to and reflex as opposed to just being a nutrition. So, taking that time away from your desk is a good thing anyway, mentally and physically. And those are good choices. I really appreciate having you on, Heather. I'd love to have you on again, speak more in depth about different things that people can do. I'm sure that we have lots of questions that are coming in. So I would love to revisit this with you. If you could do anything with your superpower, what would that be?
And my superpower, talking to people?
That's one of your superpowers, without a doubt. Communication is your superpower.
Yeah, so I would love to give a big national speech about health.
And what would that sound like?
For everybody to eat a normal diet, not doing these fad diets, eating balanced meals, hydrating, staying active, listen to your body, take care of your mind, and just be well.
I love it. So you heard that, everyone. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to get more information from Heather, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me at NORTHWELL, or my hospital. So I'm trying to get my extension.
So Grummett at NORTHWELL.
There you go. Yeah.
.edu. So it's HGRUMET at northwell.edu. And then the office is 516-256-6367. That's a good way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can leave a voicemail there.
That sounds great, because I think there are a lot of people out here that will want to have additional information from you. Thank you again so much for being on Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne.
Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely our pleasure. And thank you for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle. My heart is always lifted by sharing this time with you. And I know time is limited, so you choosing to spend your time with us is really a gift to us here, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I want to thank my guest, Heather Hart. She is just a super, super individual who really, you can feel the compassion. I love that about the Northwell Health community. They are so compassionate and so passionate about what they do. I just absolutely love it. Remember, we're here to serve one another, so please take a moment out, step out of your day, and do a little something for someone else. It will make you feel better, I promise. And it takes 21 days to build a habit. Perhaps that habit is having a little bit of meditation, maybe finding some nice recipes to cook with your family, whatever it is. Try to build those habits. 21 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a new lifestyle. Thank you again for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle. I am Lori Anne Casdia. Until next time, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big.